What's it like living as a female expat in Asia? What's the cost of living like for a solo woman such as myself? Why is it that some expatriates just never seem to go home or not even be able to answer the question of where home is anymore? And when the expats do go home to their home country, why is it that when they start talking to their friends' eyes just completely glaze over? Well, if any of those questions or other questions about being a female expat in Asia have crossed your mind, congratulations, you're in the right spot. My name is Wendy, and for more than 3 decades, I have lived and worked in 5 different countries around Asia, and I still live and work in Asia, these days in Thailand. And today I want to talk about a topic that is near and dear to any female expatriate watching. What are some of the things that we really miss from home or that we need to buy in other countries in order to make life a little bit easier? And the first one I have for you here, bras. Bras. It is a topic of conversation for most expatriate females, and I'll tell you why. I'm making a massive generalization here, but truly, in Asia, particularly in Southeast Asia, if you are over a B cup, you need to think about bringing bras with you or have a good source of bras. Many expatriate women might travel to countries that have a good Marks and Spencers, and they'll find themselves buying M&S bras because at least you know you're going to get your size in a color that isn't beige or white. Woohoo! The other thing you need to watch out for is knickers that are made of natural fibers, so cotton or some kind of cotton blend, because in a sweaty environment like where I work, you do not want to be in nylon. And cotton underwear is not a big hit in Asia, and particularly in Southeast Asia. Speaking of those types of things, when we're talking about sweaty bits, antiperspirant, and I mean full-on proper stop the sweat antiperspirant. Personally, I tend to lean into American brands. I know that sounds a bit weird, or things from Australia, but in Asia, I have found, it's my experience, that there's a lot of sort of light deodorant-y type, more perfume styles. But if I want something that just stops that sweat dead, I usually find myself like Old Spice, something like that. And even though it's more expensive, in the long run, it serves you better. Something else we tend to miss from home, if you're a lady who's still having menstrual cycles, not like myself, well, Tampax. Some countries are good with tampons and Tampax, but there are a lot of Asian cultures where that kind of sanitary wear is not as common and not as popular. So you might need to bring a sort of a supply, or at least find a way to make sure that you're getting tampons and Tampax as opposed to pads, which are very, very popular. And of course, these days they have the cups and the underwear that sort of soak up things, but that is something that you want to watch out with. And the other thing that you need to look out for is bathing suits, which is kind of in the realm of the bras conversation, but bathing suits, swimming suits that are going to give you the coverage that you want. A lot of Southeast Asian countries, the local people, they don't always swim, so their bathing suits tend to be a bit decorative, or they're not as maybe they're not as skin safe, like in terms of covering up your skin as well. So you might not get what you need there. And of course, one of the other big issues can be shoes, particularly if you have a larger size foot. Now, all of these things we're talking about are related to size, and that's something that you also need to think about, all right? In your home country, you might be a 10 or a 12 or a 14, depending on which country you're in. If you're in Europe, you're, 36 or a 38 or something like that. But in Asia, even if at home you are considered normal size, you're going to have to size up, and it's very demoralizing, ladies. I'm not going to lie. When you go into a shop and maybe the t-shirt you're wearing is an M and you're being directed to the 4XL t-shirts, and you think there is no way that this is going to look any good, and you realize you can't get it down over your arms or over your boobs. As heartbreaking as it is. So if there's anything that you're worried about that is quite size specific, not just cut bigger all over, but actually made to fit your body, made to fit your shape, you need to think about how you're going to source that type of product as well. And the last thing that a lot of women who live in Southeast Asia or Asia, who are not Asian, worry about is hair dye colors. I know that sounds random, but you will find hair dye colors. But if the local girls are all dyeing their hair and their natural hair is black or dark brown, they're not going to have the honey colors or the light browns or the reds that you would expect at home. So there's a real premium on products that are not for the local market. And so if you're someone who regularly uses box dyes or does that at home, you need to think about bringing some out, bringing a supply out, or kind of measure them out at a certain pace so that you don't find yourself with that kind of skunk grey thing happening and you don't know what to do with yourself. So that's just a few of the things that are necessary to either bring from home or think about how you're going to source those things. Maybe you've got friends who come and visit you and they say, can we bring you anything? And they think you're going to say something like chocolate biscuits, and you're actually going to say, I need some cotton underwear, a decent sports bra, and some hair dye. Those are the things you're going to miss. If you're an expatriate woman yourself and you're watching this and there's something else that you miss from home or you wish you brought more of, please leave a comment down below. If you're enjoying the content, please remember to subscribe and like. It really helps the algorithm. And I will have a chat to you another time soon. Bye.